Where can you use Canva's Magic Write feature? Everywhere in Canva. More about that and their new Draw feature today. Also, 2 new Google updates, stopwatches and timers in Google Docs, and improvements to the ChromeOS Screencast tool. But who has access to those improvements? I'll share the details. Also, I'll finally break down the details about Microsoft Bing, and our friend Joe Merrill will stop by to tell us about using Reading Coach in Flip. Welcome into episode 20 of the EdTech News Brief. I'm your host, Jake Miller. This is the show where, as the title says, I tell you about the EdTech news and I keep it brief. This is episode 20. It is April 2023, and I've got some EdTech news to share with you today. A while back, I shared about the Magic Write feature in Canva Docs. Well, at the recent Canva Create event, they announced that Magic Write was available in all of their tools. So if you're not sure what to tell your students about a picture that shows the stages of mitosis, you could click on the Canva Assistant button in the corner, select Magic Write, and type short explanation of mitosis, and it'll insert mitosis is the process of cell division in which a single cell divides into 2 identical daughter cells, ... and it'll put it right there into your project. And if that's too much text, you could select that text box, click the assistant again, and select Summarize Text for a shorter version. And of course, if you want it to be longer, click on that text box, click on the assistant, and now select Expand Text, and it will expand the text. And if you didn't like the wording that time, click on the assistant and click Rewrite, and it'll do that for you too. And if you want to edit that AI-generated text yourself to give it your own voice, which I hope you will, click the Edit with Magic Write button for a little editor pane to edit the text in. You can do this in any of their text styles and assets that have text in them that are ready to go. Just use them and click on that assistant button to access this. And it works everywhere in Canva, videos, presentations, whiteboard, everywhere, and is available to all Canva users. Of course, don't forget, it is AI, so we can't just blindly trust it to be perfect, but it sure can be efficient. I should also point out, one of the ways teachers who are concerned about AI cheating on assignments are trying to avoid that cheating is with more authentic projects. And I'd call Canva pretty authentic, at least compared to just writing in a regular doc, but now Canva has AI too, so just beware. At Canva Create, they announced a draw feature that will let you and your learners make freehand drawings with a variety of brush sizes, colors, and transparency levels. There are 3 drawing tools, a fine point pen, a marker, and a highlighter. There's also an eraser and the ability to undo and redo actions. This feature can be used to add personalized touches to designs or create unique illustrations from scratch. And as you can probably guess, this is available in all Canva tools, even docs or videos, and I think most importantly, whiteboards, allowing you to add whatever you want into any of those projects. As an educator, I have to note that this is a great tool to put in the hands or digital hands of our students. Imagine what they could do with this drawing tool built into Canva with all of Canva's other powers. Hey, don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, click the thumbs up to tell me thanks, click subscribe, and ring that notifications bell. And if you're listening to the podcast, don't forget to follow the show or subscribe if that's what your app says. And if you have a moment, submit a review. Google added 2 features that I'm super excited about in Google Docs, but before I share them, I want to save you some disappointment by telling you the bad news first. These 2 tools are only available to Education Plus users. They're also available to Google Workspace users, which are non-education paid accounts. These 2 new features that are available to those lucky users are a timer and a stopwatch chip. To access these, you just type @timer or @stopwatch in Google Docs and then select the option that pops up. This has so many potential uses in the classroom, so it is a giant bummer that it's only for certain paid accounts. Again, only Education Plus users have it. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, that Google is putting so much behind a paywall because, not sure if they've noticed, but there's this other company out there named Canva, and their tools are 100% free for K-12 education, and there's a timer in Canva Docs. Now, there's not a stopwatch, but still, Canva's amazing, it's free, and here's Google adding more and more stuff behind a paywall when they used to be the everything's free tool. Interesting stuff. It makes me wonder if someday Canva won't be giving everything to education for free or not. Maybe that's just the way they build up the momentum and then they add the paywall. Who knows? But for now, sure does look nice to see everything for free over there on Canva. Okay, today's sponsor is VIZOR, and here with us today from VIZOR is Jeff Lalonde, Director of Sales, to tell us all about what VIZOR is and why you need to learn more about it. So first of all, what's up, Jeff? How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Jake. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So Jeff, fill everybody listening or watching in on what VIZOR is.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks for the opportunity. First of all, it's a pleasure to join you and chat with your audience and your followers. So yeah, VIZOR, it's a Chromebook management solution. Ultimately, it's based on coming from a legacy of enterprise level IT asset management, but over the last 10 years, a bit of a transition to focus on the education space and specifically K-12. So we call it Chromebook management because that obviously represents the largest majority or the majority of the assets that are being used by students within the K-12 space. And so that's why we call it that. That's our primary focus, certainly, but we can leverage VIZOR to track and manage IT assets, student-held devices, essentially, of all kinds. So primary population is Chromebooks, but there certainly are other devices like iPads and things that are being tracked and managed with VIZOR. It's designed specifically for the education space, as I mentioned. It also contains a repair management portion. So when you're talking about the management of IT assets and Chromebooks specifically, there's a whole side of that world that is focused on the repair management. So not losing track of those Chromebook devices when you're in a repair mode as well. Kids are going to break these devices.
Yeah.
That's just the way of the world, Jake.
Oh, goodness. I know. And I think everybody listening knows about that part for sure. So I like hearing that it's for any kind of device. So if I have a school that's running on Apple IIs, everybody has their own Apple II. I don't know how that's working out. We could certainly manage it there. Maybe we have old Palm Pilots or something like that. We could manage them on there because it's all barcode management essentially, right? So it doesn't matter a whole lot what the device is. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. I mean, we do have a very strong partnership and official partnership status, in fact, with Google for Education.
Nice.
So, but yeah, iPads, Apple, any iOS, so MacBooks or iPads and Windows machines and Surfaces, tablets, all sorts of different things.
Nice. So I know, in my old role, I was a technology integration specialist and my school was one-to-one with Chromebooks and I had to manage where all those devices were. Like I had to give them to the kids at the beginning of the year. When they came in for repairs, I wasn't the guy repairing them, but I was the middleman between the student and the IT person who was doing the repairs. And I had to give the student the loaner. And then when the new one came in, I had to get that loaner back. And sometimes that loaner got broken. So the loaner had to go off for repair. And so the kid was on like loaner number 2 while loaner number 1 was being repaired and computer number 1 was being repaired. And then at the end of the year, we might have a student who had damaged accidentally 5 different devices. And it was hard to keep a paper trail doing all of that. Like I used a spreadsheet and emails and all of the things, and it was difficult and it was headache inducing. Can VIZOR help with that?
Yeah, no question. You've outlined some very, very typical use cases and definitely hitting on the points that really kind of led to VIZOR in the first place. So the pace with which districts can lose a handle on their Chromebook estate or device estate is just very, very, very fast, right? So you can quickly and easily get away from being able to track and manage each asset throughout its entire life cycle. So VIZOR does step in right there. So it not only reduces the gaps in process that would allow for Chromebooks to go missing, but it also automates a lot of those processes. So we're saving time for the techs. That middleman position that you referred to for yourself in terms of your own experience. There's other levels of even middle people, right? Like so from the student, then the teacher or media specialist, librarian, technology team, outsourced service providers. There's lots of different gaps there, right, where Chromebooks can fall through and get lost. And providing an ease of management, for those technologists, whether they're actual technologists or educators that became technologists, which is very common as well. So these are the types of people, ultimately, that VIZOR is there to help. Let them get back to doing what they do, remove those sort of manual steps and this kind of tedious processes involved with the management of the devices, the repair of those devices. Every step in the life cycle of a Chromebook can be a space or a gap in which a Chromebook can get lost or any device can get lost. So VIZOR really looks to lock that down, Jake.
Yeah, gosh, I needed that because I was often in that role thinking like, I'm here to support the learning that's happening. I'm here to help the
Right.
educators do things in their classroom to enhance student learning. And I'm spending so much time trying to figure out who has which
Yeah.
computer is still out for repair, which computer is still under warranty, how is this repair being funded? Is there a barcode on there? What's the ownership of this device? Where did that device go? When have we last seen that device?
Mhm.
I was trying to invent my own system for doing that, and it's great that it exists now. I wish I could turn back time and have it back then for sure.
Yeah. I mean that you're hitting again on some key points. There's lots of different threads that I could pull out there, but the cool one for me is the idea of students getting to be students very quickly
Mm,
and librarians or media specialists or teachers getting to be themselves very quickly. And with VIZOR, checking out a device, like one of the cool things, just a quick use case for you, if you don't mind, that if a student has a Chromebook device that we've checked out through VIZOR, VIZOR moves it from the inventory OU to that grade level OU, right? So that student's OU, depending on the OU structure of an individual district. But if the structure is grade level, then that's the OU that it would be moved to.
nice.
If that student brings that Chromebook back because they've damaged it, somebody spilt water on it, all they have to do is bring it to the librarian or the teacher, media specialist, technologist, whoever. They grab a new one, scan it, and give it to the student, and the student gives them the one dripping water. They scan it, and that's it. So from the perspective of the student and the resource in this case, they both get to go back instantly to doing what they were doing. The
Mhm.
reason for this is that VIZOR is going to move the Chromebook that's now in the student's hands to the appropriate OU. It's going to pick up all the attributes of the Chromebook that's dripping water and place it on the one that the students just walked away with so that
Mm.
they can get back to being a student instantly. All of the protections
Wow.
and policies of the OU are going to be in place on that new device because VIZOR's automatically updating the Google admin console. I love that one because, like I say, and then the
Wow.
teacher gets back to being a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Immediately. They don't have to worry about being distracted. What is this Chromebook here that's dripping water? I don't know the story. No, it's all in VIZOR. Like you said, you scan the asset tag. VIZOR is going to tell you everything you need to know about that device. Is it under warranty? Is it who submitted it? Where was it when it was when it, who was responsible for it dripping? All that information is going to be on that device. So anyway,
Oh,
there it
that's
is. Very
huge.
cool. I love
Oh
that
yeah.
stuff.
So not only tracking the device itself, but what happened to the device. So that if there are, whether we agree with them or not, some kind of consequences that need to be taken into place, or whether we need to look at a student's history with the device, that's all tracked in there too, so that we could see that. That's cool. And I love,
Mhm.
you mentioned moving an OU. So you're saying that VIZOR is communicating directly with Google Admin Console, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a bidirectional communication, right? So not only is VIZOR being updated with information from the Google Admin Console, but VIZOR is also speaking back to the Google Admin Console. So in this way, you're able to delegate kind of administrative tasks in the Google Admin Console to
Hmm.
like a teacher who wouldn't know what the Google Console actually shouldn't
Right.
know what the Google Admin Console is, right? Like
Yes.
you never want to get a teacher or hey, that's just pull your hair out type stuff.
Right.
So yeah, there it is.
That's really cool because you can't teach that teacher like, okay, we're just going to get you into the Google Admin Console and teach you how to change what OU that device is in,
Right.
right? But
Yeah.
but they can easily scan a barcode and type in a sentence about what happened or whatever it might be and let that stuff be automated. That's huge. That's what we want technology to do for us, right? Is
Yeah.
make those things easier so we could focus on what's important. So how do they go from these lengthy spreadsheets recording what kids have what devices and what's happened on a device over a history of years of that device being owned by the district to, let's say they wanted to move into VIZOR? How do they make that move? That sounds like a lot of hand typing of details. That's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a great question, but no, a lot of that process, in fact, all of the process that you just defined is automated. So we have integrations with all sorts of different sort of partnerships and tools and solutions, but the primary one, of course, Google Admin Console, but also any student information system.
Hmm.
So we're pulling student information in from whatever student information system is in place at the district. So we have that information inside of VIZOR. We've got financial information inside of VIZOR. But one of the most popular sources of data for VIZOR, certainly at the outset, are Google Sheets, right? Or spreadsheets of any kind. So any structured data format that contains data that's important for the decision-making process for people whose responsibility is to decide about management of these assets can be pulled into VIZOR. And that's part of our implementation package. It's something that we do for each one of the districts that we onboard.
It's amazing. Like I said, I want to turn back time and be able to use this in my
That's not
past
something
job.
VIZOR can do, unfortunately.
Right.
It's not a time machine. We're working
Can you
on
work
it.
on that? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Last thing I want to ask about, does VIZOR offer demos of how this program works?
Yeah, we do. In fact, one of our team members will be available for scheduling for these demos. Your listeners can actually go to a specific URL, VIZOR.cloud. That's VIZOR.cloud/Jake. And I believe that they've got prize that we're going to be giving away.
Yeah, we got a little prize. If you do one of those no obligation demos, you'll get a free signed copy of my book, Educational Duct Tape. So you get to learn more about the tool and get a free book in the process too. So that's a win-win right there. Don't you think, Chef?
Yes, I love that. Yeah. And anybody that does sign up too, I know that we've got promotional offers beyond that as well in terms of timing and first year contract discounts that we can discuss specifically with those users. But there it is. Yeah, one of my favorite things about what I do is discussing these things and learning more about other districts. So anybody that wants to come and join us, you get to hear about VIZOR, but you also get a very cool book. Nice. Are you going to sign them, Jake? Sign those?
Oh, they're already signed and ready, and
nice.
I've already even drawn a roll of duct tape in my signature too. So they're ready to go.
I love it.
Nice. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for being here, Jeff. I hope a lot of people are going to reach out and check out that link and do a demo to hear more about it.
I hope so too, Jake. And thanks so much for your time. It's great speaking with you as always.
Thank you. In today's Merrill's Microsoft Minute, our friend Joe Merrill is joining us to share about how your students can use Reading Coach inside of Flip. Take it away, Joe.
Breaking news! Reading Coach is now available right within Microsoft Flip. Reading Coach allows students to practice reading while getting real-time feedback.
These words were the most challenging for you.
All students have to do is click on the Immersive Reader icon located on the top right of your Flip topic. Immersive Reader will launch. Next, click on the Reading Preferences tab located on the top right. Then, slide down and enable Reading Coach located at the bottom of the panel. Now your students can practice reading the text that was in the Flip topic and receive real-time feedback based on their performance.
In the spring of 2022, Google rolled out a Screencast app on Chromebooks. I was pretty psyched about its features. It allowed for annotation during the recording. It provided an automated and editable transcript that viewers can even use to navigate the video, and viewers could translate that transcript into any Google Translate supported language. And my very favorite part, it gave users the ability to edit out parts of the recording just by clicking on parts of the transcript and clicking skip. The problem, though, was that edited video and the transcript could only be seen by viewers that were also on Chromebooks. But I've got good news for you now. They have announced the addition of a web player, so students and teachers can watch screencasts in any browser on any device. So the recording happens on a Chromebook, but your users, your end users, your viewers, your parents, your students, whoever it is, can watch on any kind of device as long as they have the web. Also, the original version automated the creation of a transcript if you spoke in English and then would let you translate that transcript to any other language. Now, if your recording is in one of more than a dozen other languages, including Italian, Japanese, Spanish, and Swedish, it'll create an automated, editable, and translatable transcription too. So now the speaking can be in one of 12 or 13 different languages and then can be translated to any of the hundreds of other ones, whereas before, the transcript, the speaking itself could have only been in English. Finally, they're also adding in some demo tools that will animate clicks and animate taps and highlight any keyboard shortcuts that you use. So they're really ramping this up to be a fully featured screencasting program, which is awesome. You'll see these updates to ChromeOS Screencast in any account, so they're available to any users, and they should be live for you if your Chromebooks are on ChromeOS 112 or higher. So if you're not on 112 or higher yet, you won't see these just yet, but as soon as you upgrade to it, you'll see that. By the way, I am editing this episode. I'm not recording it. I'm recording it here in my basement, but I'm editing this episode on a plane headed to New Mexico to speak at a conference in Las Cruces, which I am just so excited about. I can't wait to make the drive from El Paso to Las Cruces and see the scenery and see the mountains and see the desert. And it's just going to be so beautiful and amazing. I can't wait. But I'm editing this on that flight, and that's my way of saying to you, hey, I would love to edit a different episode on a flight to wherever you are. I'd love to come to your conference or your school and support your educators with learning about new technologies. If you're interested, please reach out to me. I'd love to make that happen. So on the AI front, I've covered two of the three big names, ChatGPT and Google Bard. Now it's time to touch on the third, Microsoft. Microsoft is actually using the same language as ChatGPT, as they're using OpenAI's API to put GPT-4, the top-of-the-line AI language model, into their Bing search. Interestingly, back when it came out in February, people were saying that it was a lot different from ChatGPT and did things differently from ChatGPT, and that's because ChatGPT uses the 3.5 version of the language, whereas Bing, it turns out, has been using GPT-4 all along. We just didn't know it until GPT-4 was officially announced. They call Bing AI your AI-powered co-pilot for the web, and it's available in the Edge browser, though you have to go on a wait list first, and on the mobile Bing, Edge, and Skype apps. In Windows 11, you'll even see a Bing AI button right in the taskbar. Bing AI solves the one problem, or foils the one silver lining, depending on your perspective as an educator, of ChatGPT not having access to current or always accurate information. It is essentially ChatGPT inside of a web search tool. And that's accurate because they're using that same large language model, GPT-4, from that same company, OpenAI, that ChatGPT uses, except, as I said before, for the fact that ChatGPT free users are actually using an older model, GPT 3.5. So it really is ChatGPT inside of a web search. Anyhow, as I was saying, it brings that AI chatbot experience into that web search platform, allowing you to web search in typical language, and it'll reply back to you in a conversational manner with web citations for its response. Remember Ask Jeeves, the old web search where you phrased your search as a question? Well, that one was essentially ignoring the question part and just looking at the words in the question and looking up those words, just like we do in a normal web search. With Bing AI, though, it actually interprets your question. It reads what you said and figures out what you meant, or at least attempts to figure out what you meant. When you first use it, it'll ask you to select your preferred conversation style. You can either go with more creative for an original and imaginative chat, or more balanced for an informative and friendly chat, or more precise for a concise and straightforward chat. You'll also notice that your chats start with a little 1 out of 20 in the corner. That's because you're limited to 20 prompts within a chat. They've actually increased this throughout the time since it was launched. At first, I think it only had allowed 5 prompts within a chat. Now it appears to allow 20. Now, you can start a whole new chat whenever you want, but the key here is that when you start that new chat, it'll no longer retain the info from the previous set of content. So if you prompt Bing AI to take on a specific style or discuss a specific thing, it only retains that for within that 20 prompt chat. You are also limited in the number of chats per day. They keep increasing this limit, but the last number I saw was 120 chats per day. Now, obviously you can interact by typing text into Bing AI, but the mobile versions also include a speech option, allowing you to speak your query or question or prompt or chat directly into it. And when you use this option, it reads its responses out loud to you, almost like a real conversation. This adds some awesome accessibility and convenience, but I also think makes it even weirder that we're talking to artificial intelligence, because now we're not just typing to it, we're using our voice to do it. Weird, accessible, cool, scary, I'm not sure. Lots of adjectives there. When it gives you a response, you'll see citations for the responses it gives. They've also started adding the ability to see those responses in stories that remind me kind of like informational posts we sometimes see on Instagram. These stories have visually appealing slides, and there's even an option to have them read aloud. This has some pretty cool implications for quickly learning new things, of course, as long as it's accurate information. Also, just like in a typical web search, there are ads that appear in the chat when using the Bing AI. Now, just like how it cites sources within its responses, it also includes a little superscript of the word ad to show us when something is from an ad. So at least we've got that. I actually didn't have any ads appear for me during my trials of it, but I think this is something that our students will have to learn more about. What's an accurate web result? What's an inaccurate web result? What's text that was just generated by AI? And finally, what's actually an ad? It seems a little bit deceptive, so I think we need to teach our students, if they're using Bing AI, how to interpret those ads that they're seeing in there. Bing, of course, has the same risks and issues as other AI chatbots. Their site admits that it's possible to receive offensive responses from Bing AI, and that it's possible that you'll get inaccurate responses as well. While the AI-enhanced web search is what makes Bing AI special, it also does all of the creative things that ChatGPT can do. So if you'd like it to write a love letter to your significant other, a poem about tacos, or a song about your students, it can do that too. And on the topic of Bing AI having creative capabilities, I should also point out that there have been numerous reports of Bing AI saying really odd things, taking on different personalities and alter egos, offering up inappropriate information, and appearing to develop human-like interactions with that user. A Verge article called it unpredictable and a manipulative liar. As with ChatGPT, they're essentially building these planes while they fly them. So the AI is learning, and so are the AI trainers who have to set the guardrails for it. So we have to be mindful of that while we're using them. These things are still being built and are quite unpredictable. Interestingly, Bing also has a rewards program that lets users earn points that can be redeemed for gift cards and other rewards. Use Bing AI more, get more rewards. This is a little bit weird, not sure how I feel about that, because it's incentivizing people speaking to the AI even more, which you could see why Microsoft wants that, because it'll train their model, but it also, I don't know, anything that tries to push us to use our devices more, I'm not sure how I feel about that. They also recently added OpenAI's other well-known tool, DALL-E, to Bing. This tool, DALL-E, creates images. So if you go to bing.com/create, you can ask it to create an image of an astronaut walking through a galaxy of sunflowers, and it'll do it for you right there in Bing. Brand new image, not an image search. It created an image for you. It's crazy. DALL-E is amazing, and now it's inside of Bing. Again, in terms of availability, you could use Bing for free in the Edge browser, though you'll need to sign up for a waitlist first. It's also on the taskbar in Windows 11, and you could use it for free right now without waiting on the mobile apps for Bing, Edge, and Skype, and those apps work on iPhones and other devices too. And finally, the way that I like to cap off every episode is with a dad joke straight from the world's greatest dad jokes, the complete collection, over 500 cringeworthy puns and one-liners book. And I'm spinning to a new page here. Did you hear about the dentist who treated a ghost? They had a brush with the supernatural. Oh, well, I hope you thought this episode was supernaturally awesome. I really appreciate you tuning in. I hope to be back with an episode next week. I hope you won't ghost me and that you'll come back and be here with me too. Again, I'd really appreciate it if you do those awesome things like rating or reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts, liking or subscribing to the show on YouTube, following the podcast in your favorite app, and of course, sharing this episode with friends and colleagues. Have a great day, everybody.